There's news of a queue of people at City's back post, and like the mourners at Westminster Abbey, we're not sure whether to look down or look up. Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Hello, Dan. A sad week in the nation's history. That's right, Exeter City, 2 defeats in a row.
Yeah.
It's been obviously it could have been 3 defeats. I suppose that's one positive.
That's true. Charlton away, called off.
The Queen obviously passed in the last week, which meant that City have only played 2 games. Dan was in Greece celebrating the downfall of the Greek Empire, which apparently is long gone.
Long gone. Republic now, and a proud one.
I was here, like the rest of you, watching on iFollow as City collapsed in much the same way.
They have the Queen's funeral on iFollow as well.
If they did...
Is that available for a tenner?
If they did, at certain points it would, accidentally go over to Yeltsin's funeral.
Yeah.
And then for a while you just have weird music.
And they just play Walking on Sunshine for a bit instead of the commentary.
Yeah, and then that
instead
really
of
annoying.
Nicholas Witchell cuts out and you've got Katrina and the Waves.
Yeah, that's what would happen. That's why iFollow aren't in charge of anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Joe Biden's late and they zoom in on that instead of...
I'd quite liked to have Alan Tong doing the commentary for the Queen's funeral.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, so would I. He'd
could only have improved it.
He'd bring a certain level of gravitas, wouldn't he?
I believe
Alan?
he would, yeah.
He's the man. Watch out, Witchell. Tong's coming for you.
Yeah.
So City... Obviously, there's been other news, but in the football... City away to Shrewsbury Town at the curiously named Montgomery Waters Meadow.
Oh yeah, who's he?
I don't know. Is that about Field Marshal Montgomery? And that's the name of the park? I can't work it out because it used to be Gay Meadow, right? And then it moved.
They were still calling it that, weren't they? Oh, were they not?
I don't know what they're calling it. Ridiculous. But not quite as ridiculous as City's collapse.
No, I mean, very... exciting start to the Shrewsbury game, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't it just? Goals aplenty.
So we scored very early on.
Yeah.
Through Pierce Sweeney.
Yeah, ball landed to Sweeney in the box, didn't it? And the
corner comes in, kind of just
away.
Lands to him and nice finish into the bottom corner.
Yeah.
And we're away. Brilliant. What a start.
Yeah,
then things get even better.
Well, that was 17 minutes.
Right.
And then Grounds is claiming it, but he's got in the way of it.
Well, I think it's fair enough. Got a touch.
All right, fair enough. Well, Sparks has a shot. That's on 20 minutes, and it goes in off Grounds.
Yep.
2-0.
That's from another corner, ultimately. And I'm pretty sure almost every goal we're going to talk about pretty much comes from a corner.
Yes. So then, only a minute later, City gives Shrewsbury one back. Yep. And it really was a bit of a gift.
Yeah, which one's that again?
This is the one.
Oh, it comes in, doesn't it? It's a short corner from... Yeah. And it just kind of sort of lands at one of them. No one gets rid of it.
This is going to be a reoccurring...
Why is no one getting rid of anything?
Yes.
Hoarders.
We're a bunch of hoarders who just simply won't send it into orbit.
Yeah.
And Horbit, if you will. And
so what we're going to say here is the defender issue.
Yes.
Is that we're a couple of boys down.
Yeah, this is all sounding,
to say the least,
strangely familiar to the story of the royal family. By the way, doesn't it really gross you out when they talk about someone being a royal issue, an issue of Prince Charles?
I haven't come across that.
Like someone's child would be known as their...
Oh, right. Issue 1.
Issue 1, William.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're a couple of lads down.
Yeah, so Stubbs is out with a big knee.
Yeah.
And Diabate's broken his foot.
Yeah.
Or
broken a bone in his foot.
Yeah, the metatarsal.
Yes.
The bone most familiar with football fans.
The only bone we know about.
Body.
Basically, the only bone a footballer ever breaks. So if you break your leg, it's really serious.
Yeah.
But
even then, you just say he's broke his leg. You don't say, oh, he's, fractured his ulnar. That's in the arm.
Oh, was it?
But you just say leg,
Yeah.
but we don't say foot
No.
for this. We have to pinpoint the exact tiny bone that's been broken, the metatarsal, the phalange. That's the toe, isn't it?
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it, that on FIFA, the game,
Yeah.
all your players are always injured with their shoulder. You ever notice that?
I haven't played FIFA for quite a long
It's
time.
always the shoulder.
Oh, right.
Messi's out for a year with his shoulder injury, and you think, like, he'd probably still do a job.
Yeah.
They never break a metatarsal on FIFA, but that's the only bone a footballer ever breaks.
Yeah, so that's a shame. Check.
Yeah.
And they reckon sort of, what do they say, 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah. So I guess we're down now to
Significant
3
amount
to
of
5
time.
weeks, hopefully.
Yeah. So that was a bit of a makeshift. What was the
So Hartridge wasn't in for that one.
No, so that was was that the one where Josh Key was playing
Yeah.
right side of
Yeah.
centre back?
So we had Ground, Sweeney and Key.
Yeah.
Caprice and Sparks. Harper, obviously covering for Dieng. Collins, Kite, Nombe, Giovanni.
Yeah.
So we looked excellent going forward, didn't we? Especially in that
first half.
first
I mean, it was
half.
just like absolute. It was just like they were just letting Giovanni Brown have the ball, which is just like
That's an error.
it's basically the main error you could make if you're playing against us. And yeah, mad first half. So it's 2-2 at half time. Yeah.
2-2 at half time.
So they got another goal back, which is another one we just didn't deal with.
Well, Giovanni kind of gets mixed up on the edge, and then no one comes to help him. So Giovanni's got two men.
Yeah.
You feel like, where's this extra person?
Well, short corner, wasn't it? Again, both sides, and just like run out.
And I guess that's when you have Stubbs or Hartridge bellowing at someone, don't you?
Yeah.
No one runs out.
Yeah. So what you notice, and this has been highlighted by Matt Taylor and everyone with eyes, was that there's no one really coming and kind of claiming the balls into the box.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, that's a Stubbs or a Hartridge job, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it should be Hartridge ordinarily.
Yeah.
And we'll come on to he actually doesn't do that at all when he comes back for the next game. But that's what Czech does. Yeah. That's what Stubbs does. Yeah. They're just like header machines, just like will kind of really commit. And it didn't look like we were committing to any like balls, and there were just too many balls bouncing in the box. Like Sweeney tries to sort of like control it with his knee rather than just hoofing it away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when you're defending a lead, just get rid of it. It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, that's the bizarre thing, isn't it? It's not like, we need something here. Like,
yeah,
to keep sending it out for throw-ins or whatever. Yeah, so we were 2-2 at half time.
Yeah,
and then second half, then they, like you said, they sorted out Brown, didn't they?
Fair enough. Like second half, they do kind of realise that that you can't just let this guy have the ball and let him do what he wants. But they're probably also encouraged by the defensive display. And they think, we've got 2 goals back here. Yeah, they're dangerous on the attack. Let's just do what we can about that. Who's their main threat? Brown. Let's just kind of like try and limit his time on the ball, and our chance will come.
Yeah.
And it did,
It did. So then...
Right at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was right at the end. So Stansfield comes on for Sparks, and Hartridge comes on for Harper, which obviously a change of formation then.
Mix about.
With about 20 minutes to go. And then Jay comes on for Kite and Harry Smith comes on for Grounds. I think that was after they'd scored. But yeah, they get a goal in like the 93rd minute or something.
Yeah.
And you're just like, of course. I mean, I wasn't even... I mean, I was annoyed, but I was just like, yeah. If you're 2-0 up and it gets to 2-2, it's always...
Exactly,
the home team's always going to feel like it's happening.
Yeah. And especially with the whole half.
Especially with the whole half.
Basically, to start the game again, don't you? Knowing, okay,
Yeah.
And it's a worry, isn't it, that other teams are going to be able to look at us now and be well aware of this, We had this problem a few seasons, basically before Stubbs came into the side and Diabate. And Hartridge, so definitely before Hartridge's time, we were just like had that period where we just couldn't defend balls into our box at all.
Yeah.
Listen back if you like to one of our old episodes, and you'll be able to find us saying very similar things.
Yeah. Who was doing
sort of like Aaron Martin? He's never that. Martin wasn't really a commanding kind of guy.
No.
Tall as he was, he wants someone who really attacked. kind of like brave attacking, not attacking, defensive headers, but really kind of like, I'm having this.
Coming to me,
Yeah,
it was really disappointing, especially after such a good start.
Yeah, I thought you just, you're 2-0 up. You have to go some way to throw that away. Do you mean and especially against Shrewsbury, who are like not particularly good team. Do you mean they didn't look?
Well, they got Bowman. They're bringing on Bowman as their.
Well, Bowman didn't start, of course.
No.
We'll see that. And then he did come on late in the game and didn't really do anything.
Yeah, Lord Tuffin
maybe
himself.
He did. I don't know. Can't remember.
I've never seen a sponsor, Tuffins, of Shrewsbury, and a player, Ryan Bowman, more at home together. He really looks like a Tuffin.
Tuffin, sort of like little cake with biscuit and raisin. Is that what?
Yeah, that's right. Lives on Lundy Island.
Right.
Yeah, Tuffin.
We're getting a few things mixed up here. What is a Tuffin?
I don't know.
Right.
It looks like seemed to suit Bowman. Here he is, old Tuffins.
Yeah.
If he was a Dickensian character, I'd call him Tuffins.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. Yeah. That really does suit him. And actually he'd sort of fit that, wouldn't he? The sort of like freakish kind of like guy in a stovepipe hat.
Yeah.
But he sort of scares all the children.
That's right, yeah. But always trying to get off with an unlikely, eligible woman.
Yeah, who's not interested at
all.
all.
Not interested at all. Obviously not Tuffins.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Tuffins can't believe it.
Yeah. And he sort of exacts some sort of revenge on the handsome young...
Yeah, George.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems perfect. It
writes
itself.
Having success with the ladies.
Of course, George's name would be George Friend, the hero.
It would.
Of the
That's
story.
very Dickensian as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shame those two have never met.
It's a shame.
Yeah. Puffins, of course, famously. I don't know if it's a famous fact about puffins.
Oh yeah.
A lot smaller than you think.
Oh yeah, they're little, aren't they?
Yeah. Everyone thinks they're sort of penguin size, and actually they're sort of budgie size. A bit bigger than a budgie, but not much.
Okay.
There you go. Lovely little things, though, if you ever get a chance to see one.
Of course, Lundy Island, its entire economy is based on people who steal them away, budgie smugglers.
Same with the Isles of Scilly. They'll just kind of put them on everything, all the merch.
Oh, yeah.
All the island merch is all like, oh, look at these puffins.
No football clubs are called
You'd be
the
lucky
Puffins,
to see one. Are they not?
There's no the Puffins, are there?
I wonder if, like...
You think Bristol Rovers is better than being called the Gas, isn't it?
There's two football teams in the Isles of Scilly.
Oh, yeah.
They just play each other every week. And I wonder if either of them are called the Puffins.
Giovanni Brown's not getting away with that, is he? They'd soon find him out.
What?
Like 3 men on Brown. If he played for
I see what you mean,
Isles of Scilly United, or whatever they're called, against Isles of Scilly Rovers, you need to have more. You need to really have a lot of tactical surprises up your sleeves. That's the hardest managerial job in the world, I'd suggest.
It is, but then, you can, as long as you do your homework, what you'd expect is ultimately it would be a draw every week, which it may well be.
Very, very boring league. Right, anyway, on to more boringness.
Yeah.
We then have Burton Albion, the Brewers, not the Puffins.
Yes, Burton Albion, bottom of the league.
Yep.
Yet to win.
No manager.
1 point from 8. No, they've got a new manager.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Hasselbank's
it's their
gone.
second game. It's his second game, so it's still, if we're being generous to our boys, it's still part of the new manager bounce.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the bounce is, it's bounced.
Yeah.
They played Portsmouth. They lost.
Yeah.
In his first game, but supposedly they played pretty well.
Okay. Oh, of course, it's Dino Mamria, isn't it?
Yeah, who's he?
He was at Crewe and he was at Stevenage, I think.
We come across him before, haven't we?
Yeah,
sure
Stevenage.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't at Crewe, I can't remember. He was definitely at Stevenage.
Dino.
Mamria.
Not my favourite Dino.
So, yeah, there they were, Burton. And City, Matt Taylor went for quite a different set of personnel.
Yeah. So, obviously, what it talked about, the defensive personnel is short. We're lacking in midfield a bit as well because Dieng's out, whatever. So, but rather than change anything, you might think, okay, maybe I'll change the formation to kind of fit around the fact that I haven't got many players. John Grounds is an old man,
Yep.
And he's having to play every week at the moment. And in this game, he went off injured at half-time, adding to our defensive woes. So, don't know. I get the idea. You want to stick with the system that's working well for you. But, I don't know. Could we have not tried something else here?
I mean, my concern... So, I mean...
Because in a way, you've got if you went Sweeney and Hartridge, because Hartridge comes back in for this, although probably not fully fit.
Yeah.
But then you've got a left-footed and a right-footed centre-back.
Yeah.
It's okay that,
So, I mean...
And then you've got fullbacks.
Yeah.
As opposed
to
my
concern, I got two concerns, which we all do, I think. None of us can quite work out why Caprice gets the nod over Sparks when Sparks actually in really good form.
That one that's got to be. That can't have been tactical, can it? Is that just to kind of keep people competition for places, or to?
But Taylor doesn't normally mind someone winning their place back.
Yeah, Jack Sparks has been having a really good season.
Yeah, he has,
and I don't quite know why he. But there could be a reason. Maybe he's a bit of a knock. Maybe he's tired.
Yeah,
it's 2 games in a week. You don't want to,
So that was there. And then curiouser, and I think this is all about keeping people sweet. We start with Stansfield, Jay, Collins, Harper as the centre.
Yeah, so Matt Jay in for Harry Kite, essentially.
So you've still got Brown.
Yeah. But what that means is that it's not the same system, because whether you want him to play there or not, Matt Jay isn't going to play in the same place or manner as Harry Kite.
No.
And he didn't.
No.
And in the first half, we didn't look... we did look like we're in danger. There was several goal-mouth scrambles. We managed to get away with it.
Yeah.
But going forward, we just didn't have... We couldn't break them down, and we didn't have an outlet back to when when it got stodged up towards their goal, there was no one movement because Jay's too far forward. There was times when Matt Jay was running the channels and he's offside.
Yeah,
and you think, why is
several times?
Why is he even there?
Yeah,
you just think because he's an attacking kind of player. Maybe it's a deliberate thing. We want someone further up the pitch, but Harry Kite wouldn't have been offside, would he?
I don't think that was right. I gotta say, I think that was an error. I think.
Well, again, Kite's been playing well. There's a goal. I'm not sure which game it's in because they all blur together. To be honest, where Kite probably could have done better in the box, to get rid of one of the ones. But there's plenty of people who did that,
yes,
and you can't drop them all.
I think it's really tricky, isn't it? Because Jay, obviously club captain, at various points in our last 5 years, he's been integral.
Yeah,
but he's also at various points dropped off a cliff. And while normally we've had the space in the squad for him to play himself back into form,
yeah,
we don't have that space in the squad at the minute. We've got, if you count Nombe, Brown, Stansfield, and now Smith, we've got 4 either very good or very new players who just by rights should be ahead of Jay. And so that's unfortunate for Jay, and I get it, he's club captain, and I get it, he's committed to the team. But goodness knows there'll be times in the future where either someone else's form drops off, or more likely, someone's injured, and Jay then will have a run of 15 games. And that's just the way of squad football. It really is. And I don't think...
again, I think it might have been a 2-game thing, and you let's try some...
Maybe.
It's a bit of both, maybe. Do you mean, we want to keep... We want to give Matt Jay some time on the pitch, and it's a 2-game week, so maybe we put him in there. I don't think it worked, and
I get it on paper. You'd think Burton, winless.
Essentially, sort of Jay in that system, sort of it's Brown's.
It's Brown
shirt
or Jay, really, isn't it?
That he's got, and you can't drop Giovanni Brown. It's basically kind of the only really consistent performer.
Yeah.
A bit harsh, perhaps, but there's a lot. We've been good. These 2 losses aside, I'm not even worried particularly.
I'm not worried either. I was just surprised by.
Yeah, and it didn't work. It didn't work out for him again, Jay, didn't it?
No, that's right. So then the actual game, Stansfield made one good run, didn't he, in the first half? Was it Collins that shot wide when Stansfield laid it off to him? I think so.
Yeah, could have been, yeah.
And then Josh Key saved one off the line, didn't he, first half? Which there was some Burton thought might have been a handball on the line. It's very hard to say for us.
Yeah.
I didn't think it from the big bank at the time, but don't know.
Haven't scrutinised the replay, but, ultimately irrelevant, so that's why I didn't bother.
Yeah, and then you're right, Jay was offside on several occasions when he should not be, and so we lost those chances.
Jay Stansfield, he got, he didn't get any, we didn't get any service to him because it just didn't, we couldn't, for whatever reason. He managed a couple of times, obviously his touch is excellent and he's really quick, trying to get in behind. We weren't playing to his strengths. We weren't trying to find him in the channels. He made a lot of good runs. When he did, he got 2 of their defenders booked by spinning them. Do you know what I mean? So it's something you want to play to. And we kept kind of just booting it.
Yeah.
Like hoofing it long.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if it's nerves or something like that is a better thing to do than if you're worried, I suppose. But
I mean, Key looked a bit off the pace.
Everybody did. Even Giovanni wasn't. It wasn't. Like I said, he wasn't up to his usual standards. But that standard is very high, so I'm not saying he was bad particularly. Yeah, and then nothing worked, did it? And then what do? They scored or something, did they?
Yeah, 2 more poor pieces of
0-0 at half time.
0-0 at half time.
Yeah.
And then we just again let balls bobble around. Didn't get heads on them or got
one's is it a corner? Comes in, and then just no one's picking up this guy at the back post.
That was the second goal. Yeah,
that's the second one, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's appalling.
I mean, it really was appalling. But both goals, you're like, they're just outnumbering us, and they really shouldn't be.
Or both of them are just like, someone to header it.
Yeah.
Why is no one putting their head on this? Like Hartridge is that guy. He's the guy with the. That's one of the things I would say he does. But I don't know if maybe he's just like, we know he's been injured. Maybe he's just like not quite up to, even in himself, feeling like, really attacking those balls into the box.
Yeah.
So maybe it's that. And that's a case of we have to play him, really, because there's no one else. But that's like I said, now Grounds is out as well. So
yeah,
maybe it's an enforced shape change for the next game.
Sweeney and Hartridge in the centre couldn't it? Some people were getting on Raheem Harper's back.
Yeah, a little unfair, I think.
I think so. I agree.
The jury's still out on him. I think he showed as much promise as he has any cause for concern. I think more so. And the game that he's brought in as backup anyway, wasn't he? I don't think he was brought in to replace Tim Dieng. It's Tim Dieng's injured.
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't know why. I don't think we should be really getting on the back of players that are coming in and playing out of necessity. It's hard to get. We know the transfer market was hard to navigate.
Yeah,
and I think given that fact that we've got a very small budget for whatever reason, it's really difficult to sign people. Strange old year for transfers anyway. I think as backup for one of our regular starters, I think he looks better than expected.
Yeah, no, I'd agree, and I think the game he came on for Dieng, he looked really good. So there we are. I don't think anyone came out of it blameless. No one looked good.
No, the thing with Caprice starting as well was he's done a lot of good things in an Exeter City shirt. End product has always been a bit of an issue. He got down the line a fair bit, didn't do anything with it, and then there was one opportunity we had. We had a corner, and we took the corner short. It worked out to him, and he decides to shoot.
Yeah, from 100 yards.
From so far away, on his right foot, but from the right-hand side of the pitch.
Yeah.
So kind of, curling away from goal. What are you doing? You've scored one goal in your whole career.
Yeah.
It's pretty unlikely that one's going to go in, isn't it, Jake?
I know.
Put the ball in the box.
But, honestly,
I do think his decision making sometimes,
bizarre,
is just strange, weird.
I mean, we've said this about Sweeney before as well, and he seems to have learnt that stuff upfield. But for the first goal, Burton, that was all on Sweeney. Just gave it back to them, in the 6-yard box. So I think
he knew it. I mean,
I know he did know it. Yeah, he won't do that again. he says with wild optimism. So yeah, I mean they just got to dust it off as like disastrous, but whatever. I was speaking to someone earlier today, a friend of ours who wasn't at the game, and he was like, "Oh, from the interviews, it sounded like it was awful." And so I watched the Archie Collins one. Have you seen it?
No.
I mean, he doesn't paint a good picture, but I think that's maybe Archie not quite knowing what to say. So he was just like,
"What?"
Yeah, I know. Imagine. So it was just, he really came across as bleak. I don't think it's that bad.
I think they're going to be like, the players are going to be upset about that week, aren't they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's
you
the
chuck
truth.
away a 2-goal lead.
Yeah.
On the Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then on the Saturday at home against bottom of the league, you somehow managed to lose 2-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course
they'll need picking up.
There was all that.
That's what we're here for. Come on, boys.
There was a mad amount of injury time, wasn't it? And of course, normally you think you're losing to Burton, you're not going to be losing by 2. So even that felt completely flat. Like, there's just not even any hope here. Like,
well, they did a decent job of wasting a bit of time.
Yeah.
Wasn't too gratuitous, but
enough.
And the ref put 7 minutes on.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, we're not going to get 2 back, are we? So, like, just annoying.
Can I be positive for a minute?
Please do.
I think Harry Smith looked good. First time we've seen him at home. First time we've seen him for an extended period of time.
He's tall.
He's massive, as we knew. He's also quick and not lumbering at all. He's just a really tall man.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see this a lot, because he throws himself about, a lot of free kicks against him. But actually, that is something different. That is something completely different to what we've got.
It's definitely different. I don't know what to think about him, really, because by the time he came on, I'd already completely kind of
course,
resigned myself to that it was a shit day at the...
Yeah. I mean,
office.
Unfairly, in my mind, I'd equated him to being Alex Fisher.
Right.
And so I was pleasantly surprised that actually he was zooming around, causing them problems. On a different day, would have been involved in potential equalisers, He was really cross when the ball's coming in, Caprices included, weren't going to him or anywhere near him. Because obviously, what can he do?
Yeah.
If you manage to be clever enough to grow yourself to 6'6",
yeah,
and then someone puts it a
that
metre
takes
above
some
your
doing.
head, takes some doing, as we know, and then some turnip on the wing puts it 2 metres above your head. What can you do? You can't grow to be 4 metres tall. They ban you.
Yeah.
They say illegal.
They would. Who's the tallest footballer to ever play?
Kevin Francis, 7'1".
Is it? Is it him?
So.
Is it?
Yeah, you remember him?
Yeah, I remember him. He played for Stockport, didn't
He did, yeah.
Yeah, I liked him.
I never saw him in the...
Didn't he nearly sign for us?
Don't know.
I got a feeling, unless I did it on Championship Manager.
Reality and blurs, doesn't it?
AI. They don't really call it. That's
what they say up there, isn't it? AI, he's tall.
Yeah. It's not really AI, is it?
Okay.
Kevin Francis.
So yeah, Harry Smith got some way to go.
If you're listening, Kev, we would have liked you down here.
Of course, now
pretty unlikely
that
that Kevin Francis is listening to this.
He's now 6'9".
Most people listening to this don't know who Kevin Francis even is. Probably
look him up. He was massive.
Yeah.
Anyway, more not about Francis, but more about Exeter City in a minute. Oh, we've got some hot updates from the 90s to give you. Turns out Dan was right.
Yeah, Kevin Francis did play for us.
When? Was this mid-90s?
98.
98, that late? Oh, yeah. I missed that. And also, apparently, he wasn't 7'1".
No.
How tall was he?
6'5".
Oh, that's rubbish. So he's the same height as Harry Smith.
Yeah.
Who is the tallest player ever?
Some goalie.
Of course.
Big fat goalie. Don't know.
Was he big?
Yeah, very tall. 2.1 metres, whatever that is in old money.
That is tall. So sorry.
One more bit about Kevin Francis. Moved to Canada and became a police officer. So he's now dead to me.
What you got against Canadians? Or,
no.
Oh, right. Shows I really don't remember him. I mean, I remember him as a...
He only played 7 times.
Yeah, but I remember John Sharp.
Well, I had it in my head there. I mean, something that's,
Well remembered.
Okay.
Oh, that... I'm disappointed in myself, frankly.
Are you? Well, don't be too hard on yourself. We've had a lot of players over the years.
Yeah, true. But that's real. That's a marquee signing, as in like you put him in the middle of a cloth and you got a tent.
He could probably hold up a marquee, couldn't he?
Could.
Him at one end, Harry Smith at the other.
Yeah.
Are they our two tallest ever players then? Tied at 6'5".
Have we had no taller? Idea. Have we had taller?
Get in touch if you want.
Honestly, I would have bet my grandma. I would have bet my grandma on that Kevin Francis was taller than Harry Smith. And
people were shorter in those days. That's why they used to have those small doors on all the
houses built in the 90s.
A friend of ours once, some Americans were visiting.
Yeah. England?
Visiting England. And a friend of ours was sort of decided, I've got a bit of time, I'll show them around the town.
Yeah.
And I'll really blow their minds with some of this, like, old stuff that we've got that they haven't got over there.
Yeah.
And he took them, he's like, you got to see this. Well, I'm going to take them to the cathedral and to show them this, there's a door on it that's not very big.
Yeah.
Right? Like they've got an all old house or whatever.
Yeah,
and the Americans were decidedly nonplussed.
Right.
I think they just said, wow, that's a small door. I mean, it's not that weird to see a small door, I suppose, is it?
No, so he thought that would be the highlight for them.
He really thought that was going to blow their minds. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But of course, people used to be a lot smaller.
Yeah. Not Kevin Francis, though.
No.
He was still tall. Okay.
Time to move on from Kevin Francis.
Yeah, sorry, everyone. If you've got no idea who he is, look him up. Because, you need to know these things. Educate yourselves.
Yes.
Right, coming up.
Who's next?
Forest Green, Saturday.
Ooh.
Our old enemies.
Yeah.
Away.
Our sort of new old enemies, though, really, aren't they?
Because they are. This is lunchtime kickoff because of Sky Sports. Because Dale Vince has got in bed with Sky Sports, probably.
I don't reckon that's why. Do you reckon he has?
Don't know.
Well, anyway.
I mean, it's not a glamour tie, is it?
It's being shown on Sky Sports at lunchtime.
I mean, if people got a poor opinion of League One, they see that ground, they're not going to be like, oh, we were wrong about League One. This is terrible.
What's it called? The Turbo...
I don't know. It's Innocent, isn't it? Innocent
Turbo
New
Grass.
Lawn.
No, it's moved on from that.
Has it?
Fully charged new lawn.
Fully charged New Lawn Stadium, right? You are.
Yeah.
It's on Sky Sports. Exeter City could do with being fully charged. This shows you how weird the league is. So Forest Green are currently in 22nd.
Yeah.
But they've got 8 points. We've only got 11, and we're in 15th. Oh, we're in 15th. That doesn't sound so good, does it?
No, they picked up a little touch, have they, or something?
Our goal average is still +2. Theirs is -10.
We always draw against Forest Green, don't we?
We always seem to draw, particularly up there. But yeah, generally.
At this point, I wouldn't have draw. I mean, after 2 losses, obviously a draw would be fine away. Had we got a result,
I think we got
either of those 2 other games, I'd have been more confident. And
I think we're going to need
a
win here. I think we need to start picking up some wins because ticks on, doesn't it? And suddenly you're like,
I feel like
it's October.
They're a bit more of a kind of like they want to play a bit, don't they? Forest Green. They're not some kind of big,
No.
rough boys.
No, they're not. They're not big rough and tumble boys. I just think things are I'm not, honestly, I'll just put my colours to the mast here, Dan. I'm not worried about relegation. Because I think we've got enough about us.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
I think we've gained enough points. I just think, like we said a few times, there were over 6,000 there, home fans on Saturday.
Yeah, which we had consistently, actually, on a side
Yeah,
note.
but like actually 6-2, wasn't it? Or something like that. And I think...
Do you think they might lose interest?
I'm sure some people will lose interest.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't blame them, would you, I suppose?
You wouldn't blame them after that. And then also, ignoring the Papa John's debacle, we've then got Bristol Rovers at home, Barnsley away, Oxford at home, Fleetwood at home, fine, Derby away, Plymouth away, Peterborough at home, Ipswich at home.
Well, yeah.
That gets us to the end of November.
I remember November looking tough.
So
we do probably have to get some points while we can. So Forest Green lost at the weekend.
Yeah.
Home to Morecambe.
Yeah.
They lost quite a few of their players in the summer, including Kane Wilson.
Yeah.
moved on to bigger and better
things. He went to Bristol
things.
City, didn't he?
Yeah. Still got more Taylor, and they signed Connor Wickham. It's a journeyman striker.
He's quite a good player, isn't he?
Oh, Kieran Phillips scored against them at the weekend.
Kieran Phillips?
Yeah, the lad we had last season.
Did he? Oh, I thought he was back at Huddersfield. Oh.
I think he's gone on loan to them.
There you go.
I still got JMT, did I say that? Yeah.
Yeah. So...
Yeah. So it's live on telly for all to see.
So you're not going, I'm not going?
No.
I mean, I never go. I tell you why I never go to Forest Green, and I should, given its proximity.
Yeah.
Really puts me off that they're always like, it's a tiny village, there's nowhere to park, there's nowhere to do anything, there's no train station. And I think, I don't know why that annoys me so much.
Is there no train station, is there?
It's a couple of miles away.
Okay. Presumably this is why they're trying to make a new stadium.
Yeah, fair enough. But I just feel like I can't get my head around it. I don't know why. It's stupid of me, isn't it? I know. I'll go to Weston-super-Mare or Dorchester.
Well, very convenient parking at Weston-super-Mare.
That's true, it was. So anyway, that's that. So I'll watch it on Sky.
I thought you'd like to sample the vegan treats.
I would. Yeah. I would. That's firmly in my pro column, but in my minus column, it sounds annoying.
Yeah.
And also, I know one person who supports Forest Green Rovers, and they're the most despicable sort of football fan. In the 20 years I've known them, they've changed clubs 3 times.
Well, it's insane that you know anyone who supports Forest Green.
I know.
You know him too. The chances of anyone's meeting someone that supported them is it's like.
Well, I'm not going to badmouth
basically impossible
on this, but you know him too. And when they came to St James Park and brought about 8 supporters, and then
that's all of them.
That's all of them, and fluked a win. This was 6 or 7 years ago. He was really like, your away end's rubbish. I was like, you used to live here, pal, and you used to support Exeter City, and before that you supported whoever it was.
I really don't know who you're talking about here.
I'll tell you in a minute. But honestly, absolutely the worst kind of supporter.
Right, yeah.
So I equate all of Forest Green with him. And I don't think I'm wrong. Like, who are these supporters?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. When they move to Stroud or whatever, it might be better, but...
Yeah.
Anyway, there we are. So we just could really do with a rallying performance.
Yeah, that's what we need to. We need some serious kind of spirit.
I tell you what I need is Nombe.
We could do with Nombe getting a goal or two, couldn't we?
Yeah.
And what we need is a kind of, I think after this week is not best case scenario, but as a minimum, I'd like a clean sheet. If that means 0-0 again,
I'd take that.
I'd sort of fine because
I want a very solid defensive performance.
Yeah.
There's a question, isn't there? Doing the rounds in my head certainly. What to be done with Jay Stansfield?
Okay.
Like the thing they did on Saturday didn't work.
No, but that might take a bit of time.
Take a bit of time.
Yeah.
But that system didn't work. So does Stansfield become Kite if we're playing that system? Does Nombe stay where he is? But there's all these questions.
I think him and Brown could do some stuff, and so I think that probably means unless we're changing the system, that it stays. It's Stansfield or Nombe, and one coming on for the other. Do you know what I mean?
I'd agree. I think we're looking at 60-30, kind of almost guaranteed, and like Matt Taylor just thinks at 55 minutes. Right, get your shirt on.
Yeah.
Because they're both problematic for defenders in different ways.
Yeah.
And to give them a good half an hour.
There's another way you could do it. I mean, I'm sure you could.
Yeah, of course.
You could possibly do all three and play a 4-3. Yeah, play a 4-3-3. It would be interesting to see whether he goes with that.
Yeah.
Because that puts all 3 of these kind of like
terrifying strikers.
Yeah, strikers on the pitch at the same time. I don't think there's a way to do it in the current system without having to lose a bit of what you do. Yeah, you'd lose a lot from Brown basically if you're having to drop him.
Yes,
and I don't think he would be playing centre mid.
No.
But it will be interesting, especially given the defensive shortage. Who's even going to play if we play a back three? Presumably that means Kite going back in there at right, possibly.
Do you mean Kite or Key?
Well, no, I mean Kite, because
right.
he's done it in the past as well, or Key.
Yeah.
I mean, playing that right centre back. But that's going to be the interesting thing to see how we line up against them. I think Forest Green are kind of similar. They play the same sort of way as us. They do. They're a three at the back kind of job, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, they were when I last saw them.
Yeah, so... Yeah, they're showing it at the centre spot.
Yeah.
If you haven't got Sky and you want to watch it somewhere.
Yeah, we'll see, won't we? Interesting. What are the odds of Tisdale being the man in the studio as his time passed? Because of course you won't be able to have any current managers because they'll all be busy with their own teams, like Joey Barton or whatever.
What about?
Joby McAnuff.
Yeah,
probably.
Duff McKagan, I was going to call him. Whatever his name is.
Who was Duff McKagan, the bass player in Guns N' Roses?
Yeah. Or Sam Parkin.
Oh, of course it'll be Parkin.
He's on everything, isn't he?
And maybe Morrison. But Morrison's busy on Soccer Saturday these days, isn't he?
Yeah, well, Parkin does the ITV, what used to be EFL on Quest, which he also did.
But that'll give him time when it's to zoom back.
We'll see.
Well, you can watch it on Now TV or Sky, or is it on iFollow? I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
It moves to Sky.
Yeah.
But you can pay. Did you know this? I just found this out. I can pay for a game on Now TV in the same way I'd pay for iFollow.
Yeah, it's about £12, isn't it? But it gets you a whole day of Sky Sports, so maybe there's something else on you can watch later. So.
And it's on my telly, not my iPad.
That's true, yeah.
Very good, all right. Well, we'll watch that, and then we'll be back next week to see how that's gone.
Just the one game, is it next week?
Papa John's on Tuesday. I think it's Southampton.
Oh, right, okay.
I mean, honestly, I wasn't interested to the start.
Whatever.
No, I'm really not interested.
Yeah.
So that'll be that. Come on, boys. Yeah. Remember, you can get in touch with us in all the normal ways. Tell us how we're doing. Tell us what you're thinking of what we're saying. How you feel about Kevin Francis. Do you remember him? Because I don't. Turns out. You can get in touch with us via Twitter at Big Bank Pod, email bigbankpod@gmail.com, and on Facebook as well, the Big Bank Theory Podcast.
Yes, those are all options available.
Please use them. Use them or lose them. I mean, you won't lose them.
No, we'll just carry on regardless.
As we've done.
We don't get any correspondence anyway, and haven't done for 4 years.
That's true. We haven't heard from anyone from another country for a while, so if that's you, shout. If you know someone who supports Forest Green, are they as awful as the person I know? Shout. Are you taller than 6'6"? What's it like?
Yep.
Shout.
What's the weather like up there?
Hey. Thanks for listening, everyone. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.